So we got this video here of, well, what it comes off of is a privileged girl who was well off growing up, dunking on her deadbeat dad. But then we get the dad's response, and he explains his side of the things, and honestly, he makes a lot of sense from his perspective. But I've already seen part one. I want to go over that because we got a part two here. The girl responded to the dad's original video, and then the dad responded to that. So just for context, we're just going to rewatch the first part. So let's get into it here.
Okay, I wake up at 6 a.m. to do some work. I get my coffee. I sit down. I open my computer. And what am I greeted with? Well, hundreds of comments calling me a deadbeat dad, a child abandoner, and all manner of other insults. So I think, what's this all about? Well, after a
And I think he's gonna play the original girl's video so we can see it here.
few minutes of investigation, I discover that my daughter, Maddie, has made a video about me. She's a screenwriter in Hollywood. She's also a big social media influencer with millions of followers. Some of her videos get millions of views. And this video has tens of millions of views. 1 million likes, 20,000 comments, 40,000 bookmarks, 30,000 reposts. It's just insane. So I thought I'd better watch this video. And frankly, I was pretty chagrined by what I heard, to say the least. But honestly, the more I watch this video, the more I like it. Well, I like about 98% of it. However...
And see, that's one thing I liked about his response to this first video. He's not, like, attacking his daughter. He's saying he liked the video. He's just getting his perspective on things. How like, from her perspective as a kid, she wouldn't know a lot of the stuff she was mad about. She wouldn't know the backstory on why. And at no point he's trying to be combative with his daughter. He's trying to be supportive the entire time. But he had to make a response because he was getting questions from his business partners, and they were getting onto him for her video because it went so viral.
I do need to correct a few statements in the video. But first, let's just watch Maddie's 90-second video, and then I'll give you my comments.
What's a piece of trauma that you have that's funny? It has to actually be funny. I'll go first. My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing.
Some more context is needed here. Needless to say, I will talk about this in a moment. All right, let's continue with the video.
And he got really good. He like blew up. Like he became like a D-list celebrity status, like viral breakdancer. He became like the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world. Then he got on Good Morning America and talk shows, and Washington Post wrote about him, and he went super viral, and he did all these interviews, and he danced with Paula Abdul. And here, I'll show you.
Take a look at this 60-year-old breakdancer. Yes, 60 years old. Amazing. That's Ben Hart. He's competing at a breakdancing competition in Philadelphia, and he may not have won, but I tell you what, he is winning over a lot of people on the internet. Yes. He really is. Yep, he's winning over a lot of people on the internet.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
That is not true. More on that in a minute.
The worst part, damn it, he's good. He should not be able to
he is.
like
That's
that.
crazy.
It's like impossible. It's beautiful. Hey, Dad.
Thank you, Maddie.
Like there was no split custody or anything. Like he just like left 4 kids to do that. He may not have paid for some of my medical bills growing up, but he did give me this breakdancing merchandise. So that's him. He's on his
That is a nice shirt.
It's his b-boy name because his name is Ben Hart. You know, I'll get texts like this, "Happy birthday?" ? And then like links to his breakdancing video.
That's true.
If you have funny trauma, like actual funny haha trauma, I need to hear it. Thank you.
Okay, in many ways I love this video. And of course, I love my daughter Maddie. And we get along great. At least I think we do. But a few corrections are in order, or at least a few things that need to be put in context. First, I can see that as a 5-year-old, Maddie would see her dad as having abandoned the family. One day I was living there, the next day I wasn't. And that will look like abandonment to a child. But married couples do get divorced about half the time in America. And I was just living a mile or so down the street in LaGrange, Illinois. We just weren't living under the same roof. Now, about not paying medical bills, that's just not correct. Here was the financial arrangement of the divorce. Maddie's mom, my ex-wife, got $2 million at the get-go, out of the gate, a lump sum payment. Plus, I was paying her $18,000 per month in child support and alimony. This was later reduced to $12,000 per month. And of course, I paid health insurance and out-of-pocket medical costs. I also put $600,000 into the kids' college fund. In all, I paid out about $5 million to my ex-wife to cover costs for her and the kids. And this is in 2005 dollars.
That is a
so
lot
add
of money.
50% to account for inflation. In other words, I was not a deadbeat dad at all. And by the way, Maddie did not say that in her video. But a lot of the comments assume that and say that. Now, of course, there was no way for...
Yeah, and that's I think the reason he had to come out and make the response is because everyone was like sending him hate mail, and then it was getting to the people he works with, and is making him look really bad. Because even if she didn't say that, that's pretty much what she insinuated, saying he abandoned them to go breakdancing, which it just wasn't the case. You know, he got divorced, and that's the way things go. And then the $5 million in expenses that he had to pay on, that's a lot of money. So then it just makes her look really bad because she's complaining of being abandoned, but then her family got that amount of money when, you know, that's not really what most people would consider getting abandoned when the dad, you know, gets divorced, but he still pays the money he's supposed to be paying.
For Maddie to know how much I was paying because she was a kid. This wasn't something I talked about. Also, remember that I was living 1 mile down the road from the kids in LaGrange, Illinois. Sidewalks all the way. An easy walk or bike ride. I saw the kids all the time. No abandonment, just a divorce. Was I at fault in the divorce? Yeah, I would say I was about 70% at fault. I own that. Maddie's mom and I were really not compatible in many ways. We were compatible in some ways, but not in other ways. Do I regret marrying Maddie's mom? No, absolutely not. If I had not married Maddie's mom, Maddie and her 3 siblings would not have been born. They would not have existed. The kids have turned out great. Maddie graduated from Northwestern University and is a screenwriter in Hollywood. Maddie's older sister Tori is a partner at a hedge fund on Wall Street, and she's getting rich. Maddie's younger sister Olivia just graduated from college and is teaching English to first graders in Thailand. Her older brother Peter is getting a master's degree in psychology. I get along great with all my kids, including Maddie. At least I think I do. So the kids are doing just fine despite Dad's many shortcomings. One other slight correction, which I hesitate to even bring up because I love the way Maddie did this in her video. I did not abandon the family for breakdancing. I have a career. I'm in the advertising business, built an ad agency. That's how I was able to afford to pay Maddie's mom $5 million. Maddie's mom and I separated in 2004 and divorced in 2005. I took up breakdancing entirely by accident in 2012 as a way to get in shape at the age of 54. I then just kept doing it. I'm now age 66. Now some of you might be wondering, can he still breakdance at age 66?
Yeah, so that's the original video. So he responds to his daughter making that video mainly because it seemed like he was getting some hate from the internet. They're all sending him messages, and then that was getting back to his business, and that was causing issues there. So he made the response, and then his daughter honestly just kind of comes off as being super privileged and out of touch from how things were handled because she was a kid. She didn't know a lot of that. But there is a new video, and that's the one I wanted to watch here. But we watched that first. We'll just give context. So let's get into the new one here.
This video is a follow-up to my Sunday video on my daughter's viral video, trashing me, her dad. And these videos are all over the internet now, with titles like Bitcoiner and Breakdancing Dad Ben Hart Navigate Storm from daughter's viral TikTok video. Almost everyone I knew had seen this video and was asking me about it. Now she's posted a second video.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying, we have a great relationship, I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like, if he did, it was only for a few months maybe, but actually for most of my childhood, he lived in Florida with his new wife. Like, basically, like, I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like, my video was basically like sanitizing the situation and like poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma. But obviously in real life, it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic, and it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years. And then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner, but like, he truly had no hand in raising us at all. We don't speak with any sort of regularity. He doesn't know when my birthday is. Like, as you guys saw in the video I posted, he got it wrong. He gave us some money growing up. I honestly don't know the nitty gritty of the financial situation. I really, really don't. But I do know that several times I've asked him for financial help with medical expenses, like especially like in college, and he wouldn't help me. So that's what I was referring to in my video when I was like, he wouldn't pay some of my medical bills. I'll probably delete this in the morning, but I'm, you know, 2 hard kombuchas in, and so I feel the need to kind of defend me and my family's like POV. Bottom line is, this guy was a completely absent father. He's like, I was just a bike ride away from those kids. And it's like, not once did any of us ever take a bike ride to his house. I don't think I've ever been in his house ever. So this whole thing is so bizarre. Like, I'm so surprised that he responded to my video, because I'm just like, damn, I could have actually made you seem like way worse than I made you seem. Like, in my video, I just made you seem like such a whimsical, funny guy. Like, but in real life, it was actually a lot darker. So I'm so surprised that he responded to it. And it's obviously kind of hurtful and weird, but again, we don't really have a relationship. So at the end of the day, it doesn't have a huge effect on me. It's just kind of a bummer for my family. And we're all kind of looking at this and looking at his response, and we're just like, this is crazy. If this is actually his narrative, it's like delusional.
Now I'm not going to go through.
Jesus. Yeah, I wouldn't call that drama, honestly. That just kind of seems like she's trying to be a victim. Like, yeah, it sucks that her dad and mom got divorced and then he wasn't around as much, but I wouldn't say that that's, you know, the end of the world. Especially because, I mean, it's clear he was still paying child support and doing everything he's supposed to on that end. But let's see what he responds to that, because she's really trying to paint him in a bad light there.
Through all of Maddie's points here, most of which are just a repeat of what her mom's been telling the kids for the last 19 years.
Yeah,
okay, so let's roll tape to see what childhood was actually like for my kids. And let's see how my relationship was with the kids even after the divorce. We have with us here Maddie Hart. She is a YouTube specialist.
Breaking out the home videos.
How many videos, Maddie, do you have on YouTube now?
About 54.
And what is your goal?
One day I want to be a partner.
What does that mean?
It means you get paid to make videos. Yeah.
So, Maddie, I'd like some more YouTube insights and clarification. What is the difference between a subscriber and a viewer and a friend? So you have about 300 subscribers, but how many viewers of your videos would you say you've had so far?
I have several thousand views on my videos, several thousand views on my channel, and about like 500 friends.
So it looks like he's just playing a bunch of home videos. I'm going to skip the home videos.
Victoria, Eloise,
So he's got some videos of their graduations. Okay. So I guess he's trying to show that he was in their life as much as he could. The kids. So another vacation. So these look more recent. So he's been to all the kids' yeah, I wouldn't say he's not. I wouldn't call it absent if he's making it to all their graduations and everything he's allowed to go to.
Let me be clear.
That would look
Maddie is
super
not
recent.
lying in her videos. She is saying in these videos what she perceives to be true from her perspective.
I
She's
wouldn't call
expressing
that
her truth.
abandoning.
And her
Holy.
perception is impacted radically by 19 years of brainwashing by my ex-wife. I don't want anyone
man, you hate
attacking
to
or
see
bullying Maddie for her videos. Her videos express her perspective, and I believe they are honest from her perspective. So feel free to direct negative comments my way, but please don't bully Maddie. Now, I told Maddie I liked 98% of her video, but that there were some significant inaccuracies in there, like about me not paying medical bills. That's just not true. And the implication was that I was some kind of deadbeat dad. I paid her mom millions of dollars in alimony, child support, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the kids' college funds, paid for their health insurance, of course, and out-of-pocket medical costs, as I should have. The result was that the kids were able to live in a wealthy suburb of Chicago, attend top colleges, and pursue very good careers. Anyways, I asked Maddie to take down her video and at least correct the damaging inaccuracies. It just wasn't true that I wasn't covering medical costs. I told her almost everyone I know had seen it, including clients. It had the potential to hurt my
that'd
business,
be the problem.
hurt me professionally. And I certainly don't think she meant any harm by her first video. But she declined to take down her video because she said her video had gone viral. So she didn't want to take it down. So I came back a day or so later and told her that I had posted a response video on X. I told her the video response is very mild and very positive. It just corrects a couple of inaccuracies. And at that point, my video on X only had a few hundred views. She watched my video and seemed to like it, thought it was funny. So then I suggested, since you aren't going to take down your video and correct it, I would at least like you to post my response video on your feed. I explained to her that
Yeah, I think that'd be reasonable. And honestly, if she'd done that, it shows she's like acting in good faith, and she was just saying, "Hey, it's stupid, childhood trauma. That's funny, and it's not that big of a deal." And I was just making a funny video. And then here's my dad's response: "Don't send him any hate." And I think that would have worked well for her and him. So I think she's getting a lot of backlash now because of her videos and how well this guy responded.
that people will love it. Predicted that it would get millions of views.
I
on
bet
her
people would have
channel,
loved it.
because her videos often get millions of views. I also suggested to her that after my response video, I could fly out to Los Angeles. We could then do a collaboration video, sitting down
I think that
together
would have done
and
well as
hash
well.
out these issues.
Especially now,
People would
if they
love
could
that,
still
I
do
said.
that, I think
But she
people would love
declined.
that.
So I really had no choice but to put up my response video to set the record straight, even if it only gets 200 views, which is about what I expected. Well, then my response video really started to blow up. It hit 1 million views in about 12 hours. Then 5 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views, 30 million views,
Yeah, it
and on
really
up from there.
went ballistic.
Maddie's mom started to freak out, sent me long text messages telling me to take my video down. I'm like, but Maddie's video is still up and has 7 million views, and that's just on TikTok. Plus, Maddie has posted a much more negative second video, full of inaccuracies. Here are the basic facts.
Yeah, the second video really
Maddie's mom and I got
is
divorced
bad.
in 2005. In America, about half of marriages end in divorce, and it's natural for young children to feel abandoned. One day, the father's living in the house, and the next day, he's not. That can feel like abandonment. Maddie's mom and I had some very ugly legal proceedings that Maddie is largely unaware of. I don't talk about it, but our divorce was probably worse than most.
Yeah, you don't
I
talk
lived
about
in
that with
LaGrange,
your kids.
Illinois from 2007 to 2011, just down the street from the kids. Saw the kids all the time. Then in 2011, Wanda and I bought a house in Willowbrook, Illinois, which is about an 8-minute drive from the kids. Maddie's mom then got remarried in 2012. She moved to Wilmette, Illinois, which is about a 1-hour drive north from our house. The kids were older by this point. I continued to see all kids who wanted to see me, would make the 1-hour drive to Wilmette, if any kid wanted to hang out with me. Now, teenage girls generally want to do their thing with their friends. I saw my son the most because he wanted to.
Yeah, that
I
makes
don't
total
force
sense.
the kids to hang out with me. If they want to hang out, cool. If they don't want to hang out, fine.
Yeah, I can imagine
Generally,
teenage girls not wanting
don't
to go
like
hang out with
their
dad.
parents. They like to hang out with their friends. Maddie is correct that the girls did not come over to the house, even though we were very close by. They came 3 times, once to our place in LaGrange, which was a bit more than a mile down the street from her house, and they came twice to our house in Willowbrook, which was an 8-minute drive. And that was it. The girls didn't want to validate my wife, Wanda. We've been married since 2006. So the girls did not want to come over to the house, even though we were just down the street. It was a solidarity thing with Mom. My son Peter would sometimes hang out at the house. He didn't seem to have any problem with Wanda. But usually we went to movies, restaurants, water parks, a beach
I
on
imagine
Lake
boys
Michigan,
really don't
paintball,
care
gunfight
for the
parks,
most part.
that kind of thing.
Unless
Teenage
they
girls
really
can
don't
be
like their dad.
absolutely brutal, by the way, especially on divorced dads. If you're a divorced dad with young girls, get ready for a rough ride. My only advice to you, be patient. They will grow up, and you will get along with them when they reach adulthood. All you can really do is show them that you're there for them when they want to interact with you. You can't force interaction. Eventually they will interact with you. Boys are really so much easier to raise than girls. And I'm speaking generally here. Boys do tend to get into behavior trouble, but boys are much less complicated mentally. They tend to take things in stride and don't get wrapped up in drama. Anyways, no, we did not move to Florida. Wanda and I bought a second house in Florida in 2015, but we still maintained the Illinois house. And remember, the kids were older by this point. 2 were in college, 2 were in high school. The kids were doing their own thing by this point. We would typically stay in Florida in the winter, and then stay in Illinois when the weather was nice, in the spring, the summer, and the fall. We would shuttle back and forth between houses. Wanda and I still travel back and forth between Illinois and Florida, even though the kids have grown up and dispersed around the country and the world, except for my son, who is still in Chicago. Okay, so Maddie graduated from Northwestern University in 2021. Upon graduation, she went to Los Angeles in hopes of becoming a Hollywood screenwriter. She asked me for $5,000 to help get her set up in Los Angeles, which I agreed to against my better judgment. Basically, I have trouble saying no to Maddie. That's another tendency of divorced dads. We really can't say no to our daughter.
Giving her money still.
In addition, her mom and I bought her a
direct
used
support.
car,
It's
a
definitely
Ford
not
Fiesta.
abandoning.
I think her mom and I pitched in $2,500 each. Maddie might have put in some money also. I think the
Jesus.
car was about $7,500. I also co-signed a lease for her
That's
on her
pretty
apartment.
well off for a first car.
Now, this is very different from how I was treated by my dad when I graduated from college. My dad gave me 0 after my last day in college. He was done. Now, I'm not complaining. I love my dad. I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah, I think that's how it was for my dad, too. My dad definitely helped me out
Once
a whole
college
ton,
was
though.
done, the kids were
So
expected
I
to
was
stand
definitely
on their
well
own
off
2
than he
feet
was. I think that's the way you're
instantly.
supposed to do it.
Like the day
Try and
after
make your kids
graduation,
better off than
at some
how you
point you
had
just
it.
have to throw the kid into the deep end of the pool and see if he or she can make it. That's how it worked in those days, but not these days apparently. So against my better judgment, I gave Maddie $5,000 for adulthood startup money in LA, co-signed her apartment lease, and paid $2,500 toward her used Ford Fiesta. But also, she had broken up with her boyfriend around this time. She said she needed to go to grief counseling and therapy. She and her mom wanted me to pay for that too. That's where I drew the line.
Boyfriend breakup?
I consider
Holy.
medical care to be like when you're sick or have a broken leg or
Yeah, I have
need
to agree
stitches,
with you.
got into a
that's
car
not
accident,
medical
stuff
bills
like that.
that
Not
you
grief
need.
counseling over a breakup with a
I get
boyfriend.
grief counseling for something
Also,
traumatic, but not a
counseling and psychology
boyfriend
today are
breakup.
completely dominated by far-left female wokesters. Almost no males in that profession. So no doubt her therapist would be telling her the problem was her dad. The last thing I wanted to pay for was more brainwashing against her dad and against men in general. So I guess these were the medical bills that I was refusing to cover. Now, she did land a job in LA with NBC Peacock streaming.
That's whack.
And that was going very well for her. She loved it. She was an assistant writer for a show. But then the writer's strike hit, which lasted about 6 months. And she temporarily lost her job or was laid off at NBC Peacock streaming. She, of course, approached me to see if I could help her out with funds. Otherwise, she said she'd be forced to move back to Chicago and live with Mom. So I agreed to pay her $250 per week while the writer's strike was still going on, and until she could land some other kind of work, even temporary work. And I told her this would be a month-to-month thing. I wasn't going to just pay her $250 per week indefinitely. She might have to get work at a car wash or Starbucks if this writer's strike doesn't
So he's
end
still
soon.
giving her money,
Or, God
like,
forbid, get a job at
recently.
a bank. So I paid the $250 per week, I think, for
That's
10 weeks.
absolutely not
until she was able to
abandoning
land
her.
a job at Netflix, which apparently was not affected by the writer's strike for some reason. She was also using the writer's strike period to build her social media career as a kind of side hustle. And she's gotten her social media side hustle to a point where she brings in some money with that. I admire Maddie for this. One thing I will say about Maddie, she is a very hard worker. When she sets her mind to something, she will achieve it. When she was growing up, I'd always tell her, "You know what I love about you, Maddie?" "What, Dad?" "You're a doer," I would say. And she said, "I love that, Dad." I'm a doer. And she would repeat this throughout childhood. I'm a doer. It became a thing. And she really is. Maddie is a doer. Okay, back to Maddie's Hollywood career. Eventually, the Hollywood writer's strike ended, and she got her job back on the show she was working on for NBC Peacock streaming. But she still constantly needed money from me. These Hollywood jobs pay almost nothing at the junior level. So yes, it is a financial struggle for her. But this idea that Maddie and I have not had a good relationship is just not true. Well, at least in my mind. Of course, it's possible she's thinking something differently than what she's showing. But let's just randomly scroll through our text conversations to see what they're like. For one thing, we're texting with each other all the time, just literally all the time. Back and forth with, little emojis and love, I love you. Hi, Dad, for Christmas, I want a specific fabric tapestry. I've been eyeing it forever, and I want it in my room so badly. It's $300. Is this something you'd be willing to get me for Christmas instead of the usual check? I answer, okay. When will you be arriving in Illinois? 12:22, she says, exclamation point. Okay, good, I say, exclamation point. I'll be there then too. When do you get in? Looks like everyone wants to do dinner Friday night. I get in Friday. Put me down. Love, another love here, one of these love type things right here, like that. And that's pretty much just kind of how we communicate all the time. It's just, I love you and all this stuff. And she just tells me about what's going on in her life pretty much every day. My plane made it. Sorry I missed you. How was your Christmas? Thanks. That's what our conversation's like, and literally they're just all the time, like that. So it just goes and 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 goes.
They're talking all the time.
So I don't actually know how you could have a better relationship if you just read through those texts. And it's constant. Let's see, I'm scrolling through my text conversations with Maddie, and here I'm reminded that on August 7th, 2023, I pay her $750 for medical bills. Wait, I thought I wasn't paying medical bills. And I have no idea what this medical bill was. Maybe it was the counseling, maybe it was the therapy. I have no idea.
Does she not have insurance with her new job now, though?
Turns out I didn't actually forget it. On March 8th of 2023, Maddie texted me and says she blew out a tire and broke a rim on her car, and that it would cost $700 to fix. I texted back, I'll send you $200 early for birthday. Then maybe Mom can send you a bit. Maddie texts back, OMG, exclamation point. That's nice, Dad. That really helps with the car. Then when her birthday actually arrived, I just lost track of what day it was. I'm a writer and I tend to zone out sometimes. I often don't know what month it is, much less what the actual day is. So then when I wished her a happy belated birthday a couple of days late, I guess I accidentally hit the question mark instead of the exclamation point. So it was happy birthday, question mark. It was just an error, kind of a funny error though. Happy birthday, question mark. Now the male brain would think nothing of this, but the female brain will search for hidden meaning in the question mark. No.
Maybe I
no
think
meaning.
I wasn't sure
just
it was
a typo
birthday.
in a text
You
message.
got the question mark.
Do you ever make
that's
typos
not that
in
big
text
of a deal.
messages? No.
This means he didn't remember
And she
the
says to
exact
me,
date.
Happy belated birthday, Dad. I had it in my calendar wrong. I hope you had the best day ever. Did you do anything fun? Thank you, Maddie. We just went out to dinner. Nothing much. Hope you are doing well. Love you. By the way, I don't think my dad ever remembered my birthday. Not once. My mom always did, but not Dad. I'm not sure remembering birthdays was a thing for dads back then. My dad would come home and maybe he'd see a birthday cake out or some birthday decorations and he'd say, oh, is it someone's birthday? Let's crack open some champagne. But he would never remember his kids' birthdays, not once. I'm also going to stop remembering birthdays. How about you just tell me when your birthday is, when it actually arrives, and then I'll say, happy birthday. I love Maddie to pieces. I love all my kids. And that's really all I have to say. What I prefer to be talking about is Bitcoin, and why Bitcoin is really the only hope for freedom's survival.
Well, if my hands weren't toilet paper 2-ply, I'd have a lot of money from Bitcoin. I had 3 Bitcoin, and I sold them at like $300 a pop. And then I had, if I held my Litecoin to the peak, I would have had like $300,000 worth of Litecoin. And I actually had 1 million Doge at one point too. I think I sold that for a couple $100. So I didn't make much money off of crypto because I sold it way too soon. Crazy to think about. I could have had a lot of money. Damn. If only I knew the future. But no, yeah, I like the dad's response on this. He's not trying to disparage his daughter at all, even though she really just straight up attacked him. And the daughter really comes off of as just a spoiled brat, really. Like, she's complaining her dad abandoned them, but he's sending them money. Like, he sent the mom $5 million to help raise the kids, and then he's still giving the daughter money to not have to move when she lost her job, and then he's paying bills and buying things all the time. And in fact, I hope every time she texts him, she's not just asking for money, because man, that's kind of what it seemed like. She just used him as a bank almost. Like, she'd ask for money, and he's, oh, when are we gonna meet up and have dinner? Like, oh, I don't know. Jesus. Yeah, the daughter's responses just really make her look bad. And I think the dad's right. If she could still do it now, just meet up, do a video, like, hash it out. Like, yeah, my dad's not that bad, but from my perspective, it seemed like he abandoned him. I think people would like that. If she does it, if she just triples down and texts him again, she's really gonna look like a piece of shit, honestly. Because the dad's response here has just been really well done. Obviously, it's super edited. You see all the jump cuts and stuff, but I mean, when he's proven that he's in their lives still. He's in our life still, and that didn't just abandon them. I would not say he abandoned them when he's still giving them money till this day to help them out, to help the kids out and everything. So that's crazy. Makes me wonder when the daughter like mentioned, oh, our text message is blowing up, like he's crazy. I wonder if that's just her. Everybody's like, yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, whatever. Just agreeing. I see that sometimes with some of the people I know. You'll have a crazy person in the chat that you like their family or whatever, so it's fine, and you put up with it, but you just kind of offhanded agree with whatever they're saying just because you don't want to get engaged with the crazy person, kind of. But no, I really like the dad's response here. And I hope the best for both of them. Hopefully they hash it out. I think the daughter would get a lot of praise if she hashed it out with the dad, like made up with him, instead of just outright attacking him nonstop for what honestly it comes off as like she's doing it for internet clout. Like maybe she's kind of mad that her dad's famous for breakdancing and she wasn't doing as well. But hopefully it works out for him. I just thought that video was kind of nuts.